Hi everyone, a very warm welcome again to a LeadSquared webinar. Welcome back to anyone who joined us on the real estate session yesterday. And before I go on with the session today, let me just tell you we have several other sessions coming up over the course next week. We have sessions for those in education, sessions specifically for developers, which you'll hear more about throughout the session. So quick introduction about myself. I am Shivani and I'm the one who sends you all those emails. Thank you so much for joining the webinar. And this session, we are looking to cover all the platform product updates, a couple of updates actually throughout this year so far. We will be covering enhancements across leads, users, activities, tasks, platform settings, improvements to automation, all the latest from forms and processes, and of course, updates to smart views. So we have a lot to cover, and maybe Kiranmai, if you can just take us to the slide where we talk about the speakers, so our audience can familiarize themselves with who's taking up what. They're all product engineers and product experts and managers. So if you have questions, they are the best ones to answer and clarify your queries. So here they are. We have Abhinav, Kiranmai, Kritika, and Surya, and they will be the experts for the session today. Also, we have experts on the side who will take up your questions. So please do keep them coming. Anything at all that you cannot understand, get stuck with, just post a question on the question tab. There'll be a question panel on the right side of your screen. I think, yeah, it is probably on the right side. Just post a question there and you will get an answer. With that, let's take the session forward. Kiranmai, if you could please go ahead with the session.
Thank you, Shibani. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kiranmai, Technical Program Manager in LeadSquared Engineering team. So thank you for joining us. So we will be covering some of the recent updates in LeadSquared web platform. So let me just start with what is improved in lead management and opportunity management, and we have come up with some filters in tasks as well as in advanced search. And we also extended the limits of number of user custom fields and number of user teams that we support. And we have come up with a couple of settings in advanced configuration, which will be helpful to solve different use cases. So let's get started. So in manage leads, so as a sales user, when I see the lead grid and personalize with a lot of lead information, and I have to follow up all the leads by adding activities and making calls, sending SMS, emails, whatever. So actions column on the lead grid is at the extreme right. So when a lot of information is added to the lead grid, user will have to scroll horizontally every time in order to perform the action. So this is time consuming task, and also it leads to the context loss for users. So we have came up with the feature where action column can be repositioned as per users preference in the lead grid. So this will give the flexibility to the users to add the action column as per their preference, and it improves the user experience and improves the productivity of the user. So let me show you what just I explained about the action column repositioning. So the navigation to this is go to manage leads, lead grid. So this is a lead grid. As a user, I see a lot of information, lead information added to the grid. So I have to scroll every time to come to this actions column. So we have made this repositionable, so user can just drag and drop in at any place in the grid, and they can perform the actions there itself without scrolling every time. So this makes user life easy and it improves the user experience. Next, coming to opportunity management changes, we have come up with the quick filters concept in opportunity management. So users who are already using LeadSquared might be knowing about these quick filters. We already have this feature in lead management. It's just that we have come up with in opportunity management. So this, as a manager, if I have to track multiple opportunities with various conditions, so as a user, what I have to do is I have to go to the advanced search, apply the condition and see the results. And next, when I have to switch the condition, I'll have to remove the older condition, add another condition again, and filter the opportunities. So as a manager, I have to switch between the different conditions that I regularly use, which will be a tedious task for the managers. So we have come up with the quick filters concept in opportunities where users can save the conditions that they regularly use and add them as a quick filters, and it just one click away to filter the opportunities that matching that condition. So I'll just brief you on what I just explained. So this is the navigation, how you go to manage opportunities and go to any opportunity. So on the opportunity grid, so we have the quick filters option. So you just have to add the condition that is you regularly use it to filter the leads. So you may have different conditions added as a quick filters. So just select the condition that you wish to add it and save it as a quick filter. Give the name and create. So the quick filter that you create will appear just below the buttons in the opportunity page. So here is where you can see the quick filters that you added. User just will have to click on the link in order to filter the leads that matches to the condition. So this will be helpful for the users to quickly access the leads with different conditions. So next, coming to the task, so we have introduced a new uh, filter on task page and also smart views task grid, where user can filter the tasks based on the completed on date. So uh, for example, a sales manager, he wish to see he has 10 users, sales users reporting to him, and there are 10 tasks given to each sales user. So for as a manager have to track how many tasks are completed in a given time frame and what is pending. So in order to do that, right now we have no provision to directly filter the task based on completed on. So in order to do that, user will have to add the completed on column to the grid, and they have to sort it and see the completed on time manually. So to reduce the effort that is required to filter the completed on filter the tasks that are completed on in a given duration, we have come up with the completed on filter on the task grid. So this will be helpful for the sales managers to easily track the task status. I'll just show you the demo on what completed on how completed on filter works. So we have this provision in smart views. Go to the task grid. So here, when you click on the schedule, you see another option to filter the completed on task. Just select the time range that you wish to filter. So, and this same is available in manage tasks. Go to task grid in manage tasks, and same drop down where schedule is appears, select completed on, and select the date range that you wish to filter the tasks that are completed on. So this will be helpful for the managers to track the tasks that are completed, and I mean it can be used along with the other filters on the task grid, and can be used to filter with multiple conditions. So another filters we have added is in advanced search. So we have come up with the provision in advanced search where users can filter the activities with and without attachments. So when coming to the use case, so field sales users go to the client's location and they just give the demos, and then they add the demo activity with the demo recording attached to the activity. So in order to do this, sales users will have to attach the demo recording so that the quality of the demos can be improved further. So manager will have to monitor the quality of the demo to improve that. So if any users forget to upload a demo, or to know, for example, if there is a documents activity where the sales user visits the client location and collects the documents, but he misses to upload the documents to the activity, document collection activity. So manager can track such activities by using the advanced search filter condition with and without attachments. for an activity. So this will be easily, this feature will enable the managers to track activities with and without attachments. So I'll just show you on how you can filter the activities with and without attachments. Go to manage leads, advanced search, select the lead activity option, select the activity. Here you see an extra option, so attachment. So then you get to see two options, uploaded or not uploaded. So select the option that you wish to and add the condition and find the leads. So, and this same option is available in manage activities as well. So you can filter the activities with and without attachments. Coming to the user management changes, I'll first talk about the use case. So most of the EduTech customers uses LeadSquared, and they store the complete information of their user in LeadSquared users, the information like city, address, center ID, course code, etc. And not only this, and some of the personal information of the user like birthdays, work, and date of joining, and other marital status, gender, so many, any of the user information. Basically they use it, and this information is used in automations for lead distribution. So we have currently limit of 10 custom field support, so which is not sufficient to store the complete employee information. So a lot of customers asked us to extend the limit of the number of custom fields that we support for users. So we increased it to 100. So now users can store a lot of employee information in LeadSquared. So this will help customers to store their users information completely, and it also helps to sync HRMS systems with the LeadSquared data, where employees use LeadSquared as their primary information to store their employee information. They can sync the data between their HR system and LeadSquared. So I'll just show the flow how we can create user custom fields. So go to settings, and here you can see some of the general fields that we have added. You can see it in my profile section as a user, and admin can see in the user management module as well. So this is the general information, employee ID, date of joining that we show, that we added shipped by default. And along with that, we also have given the provision to create more custom fields as per the customers requirement and usage. So when you navigate to the user field section in settings, you will have an option to create. Just give the display name of the field and schema name, choose the data type of the field, and select if the field is mandatory, and you can allow it to edit, or you want to hide it from the users. So you just select it and save it. So this field that is created will appear in the my profile page as well as in manage users page, and the same can be used further for lead distribution in advanced search conditions and everywhere. So coming to the updates in teams, so I'll first talk about the use case. When there are a lot of customers, when there are a lot of users, for example, enterprise customers have roughly around 10,000 users. So when number of users are more, especially the enterprise customers requested to extend the limit of teams that we support right now. So different teams and sub teams will be created to apply smart use and user dashboards, so that users can see the relevant information to them. So this helps managers to manage their teams efficiently by showing only the required information that user needs. So the current limit that we have doesn't support larger teams, so we have increased the number of teams limit to 2000. So this will help managers to manage their teams efficiently. The different teams they can create, and they can assign different smart views, different dashboards, and workday templates, holiday calendars, and everything can be customized on teams. So I'll just show what is the change in teams. So to support larger number of teams, we have came up with a new UI, new improved UI for Teams UI version 2. So this is before enabling the Teams version 2. So here is the Teams page. Where you can apply small smart view, holiday calendar, or a workday template, or a user dashboard. So you, when there are large number of teams, it's very difficult for user to scroll in this pop-up and find out the team and save it, apply the template that they wish to. So we have only actions, add, edit, and add team against the teams in the current UI. So in order to enable Teams UI v2, so go to advanced configuration, and when you scroll down you see an option to switch to Teams UI v2. So you can switch to, so this will take some time to reflect, the maximum of 5 minutes. So now you can navigate to the Teams page from settings, and here you can see that the actions are removed on the gear icon. So instead the actions will be visible against the team. So you can directly go to the team that you wish to apply and apply the template there. So after you apply, you have the provision to select the columns and see it in the grid as well. So when you apply the smart view, so you can come select the smart view in the grid and add it to the grid, and you can see against which team which template is applied. So my colleague Kritika will cover from here. So Kritika, over to you.
Thanks, Kiranmay, for sharing the insights with us. I'm sharing my screen. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are.
All right. I'm Kritika, and I'm a part of core platform engineering team and look after entities like team management, lead management, activity, task, and user and permissions. So now let's get started with what's new in advanced configuration settings. So the first one is view relevant email template. So let's understand business need with an use case. So let's take an example of a company where I have multiple sales user, and one sales user is responsible for selling online courses for students, whereas other sales user is responsible for selling online courses for entrance exams and so on. So if they all create email templates all together to run a campaign, so it creates a confusion for the user. So what happen is they often see the email campaign library with more number of templates than what is required for them actually. So that usually creates a delay in achieving the desired result. So to talk about this feature, once the setting is enabled, so here admin can allow restrict sales users to view the yeah. So it allows sales user, like say, admin can restrict the sales user to view the templates created by other sales user. Instead, they can see their own templates as well as the marketing and admin what they have created. So the value it creates it is easy to access the templates that are required. So in the next slide, let's understand how this functionality works before and after the setting is enabled. So the first here is, here you see my sales user name is sales user is Kiran. She goes to email library, and there she sees a bunch of email templates created by herself and other sales user. So as an admin, if I want to put in restriction, I go to settings, and then I look for advanced search, and then restriction on sales user to view that email template. And then once I configure this, once the setting is enabled, and it takes a couple of minutes. So here, as you can see, as a sales user, Kiran, she is only able to see the templates that is created by herself, another template created by other sales user. Moving on to the next one is restriction on create template. So let's understand the business requirement here. So many a times a company wants the sales manager and sales user to send email campaign that was created by the marketing team or the admin team. So here the overview of this feature is uh, admin can restrict certain specific users for creating an email template, and the applicable restricted roles are sales user and sales manager. So this so the value it creates is that sales user and sales manager won't be able to create the email templates anymore. Rather, they can use the templates created by their marketing team or the admin. So now let's understand how this functionality works before and after the setting is enabled. So as sales user is Kiran, she goes to email library and there she finds the add email template. But but as an admin or the manager, I want her to follow a certain workflow. So I want to put in a restriction on her in creating a email template. So I go to advanced configuration and then look for the setting. Restrict users from creating email template. I click on configure and then here I see the list of sales user and sales manager. I select Kiran here. I don't want her to create any more email templates. Rather, I want her to follow a certain process. So once the setting is enabled, and as a sales user, when she logs into her account and goes to the email content, she won't get the option to create any email templates anymore. Moving on to the next one, is restriction to download call recording. So let's understand the business need with an use case. Whenever the call recording or the demo recordings are uploaded on on the application, so earlier what used to happen, users had the liberty to download the audio clipping and even can play the recording. But since these both are accessible by the user, so that creates a security breach if it is shared outside the organization. So here the overview for this feature is, when enabled, users won't be able to download audio attachment, but can play the audio in the application. So the value it creates is it maintains the confidentiality of call and demo recordings, and the public URL will be invisible. Hence, audio type attachments cannot be shared within or outside the organization due to security reasons. Now let's understand how this functionality works before and after the setting is enabled. So this is before the setting is enabled. My sales user is Pranav. He goes to manage leads, click on a lead call, and he comes back on the lead details page, and there he see the attachment file of audio. Here he has the option to play the audio and as well as he can download it. But due to some security reasons, as per my business requirement, I don't want any of the users to download it. So to put in restriction, I go to settings, click on advanced configuration, and then look for restrict users to download activity attachments. I click on configure. Here I see the list of file extension type supported by audio, and then click on save. So once the setting is configured, my sales user Pranav once again goes to the manage leads, activity history, and see the audio file type. Here he is getting only the option to play. So he has the option to play, but he cannot download it, so that he or she cannot uh, share these audio clipping outside the organization or even within the organization. Last but not the least is default tab customization. Yes, so to understand this better, so let's take an example, or we'll take an example. So first I'll explain about it. So by default, activity history is the default tab shared by LeadSquared. And in order to make any tab as default, I have to ask the user to mark the relevant tab as default. So it is a tedious task for the admin to reach out to each and every user. So there was no provision for the admin to push in a organization level setting for this. So let's take an example of insurance company. So for insurance company, the document policies, the policies which they sell is the important part. So so as an admin, I create a custom tab from marketplace, and then it has all the details about the policies, terms and conditions. When a sales user is on the call, he or she would be able to exchange the information without any delay. So I can mark this particular tab as default. Or to take an example of a tech company. So there I can say about the pitch. So I create a pitch tab where a user has, where it has all the Q&A, what to talk to the customer, how to answer their queries, this, that. So for me, for an edtech, this might be a important tab. So as an admin, with the help of this feature, admin can set up an account level default tab on the details page, and the value it creates is admin can customize default tab on the important tab at an account level for which all user actions are required. So now let's understand how this functionality works. So earlier, when I go to manage leads, I click on the lead poll and I see that activity history is the default tab right now. But as per my business case, I want to change the default tab. I go to setting, advanced configuration, and then look for the uh, enable default tab for the users. And I click on configure. Here I see the list of system tabs as well as the tabs connected by from the marketplace. And here I want task to be the main tab, so that whenever my sales user go to the lead details page, yeah, so whenever they open the lead details page, task will be the default tab. So it act as a sort of a landing page in the lead details page. So this is it from the core platform side. Over to you, Shivani.
Thank you so much, Kiranmai and Kritika. Now I will be bringing in Abhinav to talk about automations.
Yeah. Hi, Shibani. And thanks, Kiran and Kritika. I'll just share my screen. Yeah. Let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it now.
Okay, great. So hello, everyone. I'm Abhinav. I'm a senior product manager here at LeadSquared, and I own the product management for the automation module. In this webinar, we'll basically cover the new features related to the automation that we have released in the past few months and how users can make use of these features for their benefits. So let's move to the next slide. I believe most of the users are already aware of what LeadSquared automation is, but still for the benefit of new users, I'll just give a brief introduction about it. So if you want to automate your entire workflow using an intuitive and easy to use visual designer, then you should use LeadSquared automation. It's a powerful way to push your leads to conversion without any manual effort. So few of the examples of automated workflows that our customers use are send automated campaigns to leads and follow based on their behavior, nurture leads with the right messages depending on their engagement, or automatically distribute leads to users groups based on location, interest, products, etc. Or you can also automatically check in or check out your users, create tasks or alerts based on their availability. So all of these workflows can be automated using LeadSquared automation. So some of the new features that we'll cover now, let's look at those. So first feature is user-specific lead assignment quota. You can actually assign lead distribution quotas for individual users now. Earlier, there was a global setting that applied at the specific user role level, but now you can actually assign distribution quotas for individual users. You can even assign user-specific quotas for different durations, such as daily, weekly, or monthly lead assignment quota. The value proposition that it brings to the customers is that you can actually easily manage your lead distribution for each and every user. It provides you flexibility to set limits on the lead distribution quotas for users. You can define quotas for different durations, such as daily, weekly, or monthly quotas. And you can even put default quotas values at user level. So let's look at a business use case for this particular feature. Suppose there's a company who wants to assign 50 leads to 5 sales users, such that 10 leads each are to be assigned to 3 sales users and 15 leads each are to be assigned to the remaining 2 sales users. Then it is possible to do so using the user-specific lead assignment quota. Earlier, there was a global setting which would apply to the user role level, but now you can have individual user-specific quotas. One point to note here is that the assignment quota limit for a user will apply across all the automations. So you have to be careful. If there's a user's quota which is defined as 10 and there are multiple automations which are assigning leads, then it will keep on increasing the automation quota counter. And once the quota is exceeded, more leads won't be assigned to the user from any of the automations. So let's look at a short video which will explain how you can make use of this particular feature. So in LeadSquared settings, first you have to configure the lead assignment quotas. You can go to users and permissions, lead assignment quota, and there you will see the slider for enabling lead assignment quota. Click on that slider, and then you can actually set custom quota levels, and you can even give the default values for each quota. These custom quotas can be your daily limit, your weekly limit, or your monthly limit. So you can have multiple custom quotas for the same, and along with that you can give their default values as well. If required, you can also add exclusion conditions, and after setting up the exclusion condition, you just have to save it. So once you have saved the setting, you can now move to creating the automation which can make use of these custom quotas. So to create the automation, go to workflow automation, click on create automation, and then you can build it from scratch. You can select any of the triggers that are available. Here we'll select the new lead trigger. Once we have selected the trigger, you can click on the the add button and go to sales execution and select the distribute lead card. In the distribute lead card, you get the checkbox for enabling lead assignment quota, but first you have to select the condition which will trigger the automation and the distribute lead as well. So here we are selecting the product, and we have selected the product as premium insurance. So whenever we get a new lead which has product as premium insurance, that lead will be distributed using this condition. You can select the users who will be assigned the leads which will come through this automation. So here we have selected 2 of the users which will be assigned the leads, and then you can add the assignment quota for those users. So here you can have a daily limit, weekly limit, or a monthly limit. You can select the quota levels, and you can even select the default rule which will apply when none of the above rules match. And then you can save the custom quota settings and you can publish the automation, and now it is ready. The entire workflow is ready for distributing the leads automatically. Let's look at the next feature now. The next feature is supporting multiple lead fields in lead update trigger. It's a pretty straightforward feature, but at the same time, it's a very powerful one. So using this feature, you can actually select multiple lead fields as a lead update trigger in the same automation. Earlier, you could only select one lead field in the lead update trigger, but this allows you to select multiple lead fields. So it enables you to create a single automation that can be triggered on multiple lead field updates. It reduces the number of similar automations that might be required to cover the same business logic or workflow, and saves your valuable time and effort which would be required in setting up multiple similar automations. One particular business use case for this feature is that you can create a single automation that sends the lead owner an email when any of the below conditions are matched, like the lead stage changes from prospect to customer, or when the lead score reaches above 50, or when the lead's location changes. One point to note here is that the maximum number of lead fields that can be included in the lead update trigger in a single automation is 30. Now let's look at the short video which explains how you can make use of this feature. So once you create an automation, in that when you select build from scratch and you select the trigger condition, here we'll select the trigger condition as lead update. So in lead update, as I told you earlier, you could select only one lead field, but now you have the option to add more lead fields. Like here we are selecting city, company, email. So if any of these lead fields are updated, the automation would be triggered. You can add further conditions to the automation and publish it, and then it's ready. The entire workflow is automated for you. Now let's look at the next feature that we have released. It is supporting multiple task types in task related trigger on lead. So now you can select multiple task types also for a task related trigger on lead in the same automation. So for example, you can select multiple task types in automations that have either of the following task triggers on lead. It could be either task created on lead, task reminder for lead, or task completed on lead. Again, the value proposition that it brings to the table is that it covers multiple task type triggers within the same automation and reduces the number of similar automations that might be required to complete the same business logic and saves your valuable time and effort. So a possible business use case is that you can create a single automation that creates tasks for members of a different team once specific tasks are completed by the sales team. For example, you can create a follow-up task for the accounts team when the sales team completes task type 1, or you can create an activity on the lead when the sales team completes task type 2 on the lead. Let's look how you can make use of this feature. So once you create an automation, in that you can select the triggering condition as well. So trigger condition here would be in task triggers, you have these three options, either task created on lead, task reminder for lead, or task completed on lead. So here we have selected task created on lead, and in the task types, you can select multiple task types. Earlier, you could select only one. And then you can save it and add further conditions to complete your workflow. Yeah. Again, it's a pretty straightforward feature, but gives you a lot of benefits and power in your hands. The next feature that I would like to talk about is the work hours based automation. So this feature was actually requested by a lot of our US customers, and they were interested in the wait until workday condition card. So you can assign work to users only on their work days using this particular condition card. The automation execution will wait till a particular user, such as a lead owner, activity owner, or an opportunity owner, is online before proceeding with actions such as creating a task or sending a notification to that user. This ensures that the owner does not miss out on important notifications, updates, or action items. So basically, whenever the user is available online to work, then only the automation would be completed. So it enables users to schedule any action for the next available workday. In case it fails, it falls outside of the working hours. And it prevents unnecessary reassignment of tasks also because of unavailability of users. So a possible business use case can be that when a new lead is created and allocated to a user who is currently offline, then send a notification to the user only after the user logs into work. You can even delay the automation execution till the lead, activity, or opportunity owner is online, and then proceed with creating a task for the owner. Let's look how you can make use of this feature. So while you create an automation, you can select one of the triggers that are available. So here we'll select the new lead. So whenever a new lead enters the application, then this automation is triggered. In that, in the condition cards, we have the wait until workday card. You select that card, you can select the user for which it should be enabled. You can select the default user and you can save it. Then you can add further conditions to the automations like creating a task. And once you publish, it is up and running for you. Now let's look at the next feature, which is new task triggers for opportunity management. So this feature was again requested by a lot of our opportunity management customers who use opportunity management extensively. So they can create automations with task triggers for opportunity management now. The new triggers that have been added are task created on opportunity, task completed on opportunity, or task reminder for opportunity. It gives them ease of use in creating opportunity task trigger related automations and provides them more flexibility to use, especially to users who use opportunity management extensively. A possible business use case or possible business use cases are sending emails to users reminding them to collect documents related to an opportunity, notifying users with personalized email when an appointment is scheduled with a lead connected with an opportunity, or creating a follow-up task for the accounts team when an opportunity related task is completed by the sales team. So all these use cases can be covered by the single automation that is available now. So let's look how you can make use of this feature in creating an automation. Now when you select the triggers for that automation, in the task triggers, you get more options of task created on opportunity, task completed on opportunity, and task reminder for opportunity as the automation trigger now. Again, you can select any of those triggers, so like task created on opportunity. So whenever, let's look at how, first opportunity type is opportunity type 1, and you can select the task type also. So whenever a task is created for this opportunity type, the automation will be triggered, and you can add further conditions to your workflow to automate it. Let's look at the next feature, which is supporting automation trigger on bulk opportunity import and update. So now you can trigger an automation when opportunities are imported in bulk through the CSV file, or opportunities are updated using bulk update on the manage opportunities page. So possible value proposition for this feature is that it makes it easy for users to trigger automations, especially those who use opportunity management extensively. So again, it was a very requested feature by our opportunity management customers. It is very useful, especially in cases where users have to trigger an automation immediately after opportunities are imported in bulk using the CSV file, or users have to trigger automations on bulk opportunity update from the platform. So a possible business use case is that an insurance company wants to trigger an automation immediately after importing multiple vehicle insurance type opportunities. Then they can use this trigger. Or the same insurance company wants to trigger another automation when an opportunity field is updated in bulk for multiple opportunities. Then also we can use this particular feature. Let's look at the bulk import feature first and how you can trigger an automation using the bulk import. So in the triggers, you have the opportunity triggers. You can select the new opportunity trigger. In that, you can provide the opportunity type. And then we have the trigger on import checkbox. So once you click on this checkbox, then whenever you import opportunities using in bulk, using the CSV file, this automation would be triggered. You can add further conditions to complete your workflow, and this automation will automate all your workflow. Then let's look at the bulk update feature. Here, once you're selecting the trigger, you have to go to opportunity trigger and select the opportunity update as the trigger for the automation. You can select the opportunity type and the opportunity field. So basically, whenever this opportunity field is updated for the opportunity type that you have selected, this automation would be triggered. And you can give further conditions. Now let's look at how you can do a bulk update from the platform. So you can go to leads, manage opportunities, and click on opportunities. So this is the manage opportunities page in the application. Here you can select all the opportunities, and in the actions you will get the option of bulk update. In bulk update, you can select that same particular feature, the field, opportunity field, for which you had set the automation. You can select the new value for that opportunity. And once you check this box, update all the opportunities for this particular field type, and you click on update, then the bulk update is triggered, and at the same time the automation would also be triggered. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. For more information about any of the features that I've explained, you can visit the LeadSquared help documentation page. And at the same time, what I would like to say is that there are some features which won't be readily available in your application. So to enable those particular features, please reach out to the customer success managers or your account managers, or you can even write a mail to the LeadSquared support team to get those features enabled for your account. Thank you. Shivani, over to you.
Thank you, Abhinav. Surya, all yours. Surya will be covering forms and processes and smart views.
Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, based on wherever you're logging in from. Today, we'll start with smart views and forms and updates of what we have been working on in the last 3 to 4 months and what we have been providing out. So let's start with smart views. So smart views is essentially a list view built into LeadSquared where you can filter out multiple LeadSquared entities like leads, activities, tasks, opportunities, and apply specific conditions on them and fetch them those particular entities precisely. So this can be leads who are in a particular stage of a funnel, tasks that have been completed, or opportunities of a particular estimated value. So this time around, we have worked on improving tasks and how you can better improve and filter tasks. I'll also be walking through on how you can use these to better understand your conversion funnels as we go along. So as Kiranmai already explained, we have introduced advanced search for tasks, and we'll be taking it on and reusing it in Smart Views so that you can have better lists of tasks based on very specific conditions that might be required as per your business. So one is yes. So as we have said, we have introduced filter with extensive conditions, so you can apply various complicated rules like what if this is the lead stage and if this is the task type and this is the task status, fetch me all the tasks. If a task has been overdue of this particular type and has been performed by a particular sales user, you can also retrieve those particular set of tasks. And as I mentioned in the example, you can also combine tasks now with lead fields, so you can have lead stage and status. So if you want to understand where in a particular stage most of your tasks are pending, so you can just bring up tasks of this type where the lead stage is this, so as to understand like how many prospects are in, let's say, are pending for a follow-up call, and you can take necessary actions and assign sales users efficiently. One thing we understood while creating this particular feature is that you would like to club together multiple task status types. So this can be overdue and pending, where mostly you would like to see, or you can even have overdue and fail to understand why a particular set of tasks are not being completed and do a better analysis. So let's quickly move into the example. So I have set up, so I went to settings, accounts, and smart views, and I have edited a particular smart view called verification pending, and I have clicked on a new tab, and this will bring up this particular pop-up where essentially you have different types. You can select activity here, name it, select a particular meeting type, and I have selected meeting here, but you can also essentially have all meeting, all task types, so that you can filter through the entire list. And if I click on select condition, it'll open me this bigger pop-up where essentially I can type in the search criteria. In this particular example, I'm talking about failed onboarding visits to understand why a particular leads or my hotel use case. This is my hotel use case essentially. So what I want to understand is how many leads are disqualified after a particular meeting is completed. So that is the stage I have applied. So if this particular task of meeting is completed last week and the lead stage is moved to disqualified, I want to understand why that is happening. And this will help me understand like where people working on it, like what is the issue, right? It can be that the same sales user has been visiting multiple hotels and that is the reason it's getting disqualified, or probably there is all the hotels are located in a specific area where the sales process might be different, or the USP that you're selling them might be different. To understand all of this, you would like to essentially go through it and do a deeper dive here. And taking into that consideration, what I want to check is like uh, taking advantage of the multi-select for status. What I want to check is like where meetings cancelled and then the lead stage moved to disqualified. So this might be a problem in my process itself, where like if a meeting is getting cancelled and I'm automatically moving the lead stage to disqualified, I want to check that so I can select cancelled as well as completed to better understand where the funnel my issue is happening with this particular hotel onboarding use case. And not only hotel onboarding, you can just extrapolate it to across industries and education. If let's say your education counselor is not able to complete tasks, you can just extend it there. Like if a student introductory call is happening or not, let's say for insurance, if your initial pitch call is happening or not, and so on. Coming to the second feature that is very important that we have released into Smart Views is sales group filters. So this further takes down into our analogy that you can apply very complex filters on top of your LeadSquared entities, and sales group filter exactly helps you to do that. So you can now filter out based on sales group. So it can be all, which is the default view, but now you can essentially go into particular sections. So let's say you want to see the tasks that are being performed by your sales group in North. So you just hit on sales group North and you get all the lists of tasks that have been performed by them. So sales group is not necessarily just for tasks. You can apply it to leads. So if you want to see leads which are owned by your sales group North or sales group South, you just go toggle around accordingly, and it will give you a list, and you can understand based on like different entities, like what is the cost, what is the performance, which states most of the leads are in, to get a better idea and plan ahead. So yeah, this time in Smart Views, we have essentially allowed you to have better search facilities in tasks, as well as given you an option to filter via sales group. Moving on into forms and process. So forms and process are very tightly related. So forms essentially allows you to capture a lot of information, which is essentially the sales user will be using to collect either a call disposition or user information, lead information, or it can even be used to capture create tasks, create activities, update tasks, and update activities. So the most primary focus area for us this time around has been in form load and save performance improvements. So performance is very important. Essentially, we want people to spend lot less time filling out forms. So that is our core idea, that you should be able to spend as little as time possible, and we always work towards that goal. So to help with that, we have increased our form performances both while loading as well as saving. So you'll see significant changes. Whenever you open a form, it loads up faster, and whenever you save it, it saves faster. So reducing the overall time to interact with it. We have also introduced dependent drop-down fields and rules. So this is a really good feature where essentially dependent drop-downs are where you have two related fields. So let's say state and city. So based on the state value, you would like to show a different set of cities. So let's say if you have Maharashtra, then you would like to show all the states in Maharashtra. And if you have state selected as Karnataka, you would like to show all cities in Karnataka. And earlier, these type of fields were not selected in rules. We wanted to understand like what kind of usage comes in. And now that we have user feedback, what we have done is we have allowed you can now set up different defaults essentially for different values. So let's say you can write a rule saying if state is Maharashtra, put city as Mumbai, and if state is Karnataka, put city as Bangalore, and so on. So you can define rules. You can also combine them with other fields and like based on it. So let's say you have only one state in Karnataka, you only have one branch in Bangalore, and someone has selected a particular course, and that course is also available only in Bangalore. So you say if course is this and state is Karnataka, put Bangalore as the city by default. So these kind of help the sales user fasten up because it removes a lot of unnecessary load on them. So we have Mavis native support and forms. So Mavis DB is a new product offering from LeadSquared. It is a database as a service offering where essentially you will be able to store a lot of information, custom information into LeadSquared as database tables and reuse them across LeadSquared for various purposes. You can securely store business data and use it directly. A very good example is like you can store all the active pin codes area your business is operating in within LeadSquared and reuse them for various purposes. So we have an upcoming webinar on Mavis DB, which will be led by Mangesh, who's the product owner for that. And please do join up. It'll be about developer platform as well as Mavis DB and a quick walkthrough. He'll be able to give you better use cases for it. But from a forms perspective, we have two supports so that you don't need to invest much time. Like setting up it is easy. So using should be as well. So that is the reason we have these two integrations. So one allows you to fetch data from Mavis DB and set it to fields within forms. And the other one allows you to set options for a drop-down value. So let's quickly check. So what I have done here is like, I have taken a database from Mavis and I have a forms demo and a project master. So this is my database and this is my table. And I've said like if a city is defined and a building is defined, go and fetch me the status of that particular building. So I have mail merged the values essentially, which is like passing on the values defined here. So if you see if the city is defined and project name is defined, go and filter this database for this particular city and project name and get me the completion status. So this is where you want to set a value of a particular field based on database inputs. The second one is where essentially I said like whenever floor is defined. So this is a real estate use case that I have modeled around. So essentially what it does is every city has a few buildings, every building has few towers, every tower has a lot of floors and every floor has a lot of flats in it. And what I have done essentially is whenever floor is defined, so this is almost an ending step. So what I've said is whenever people have selected a floor, go and show me all the flats that are available in that particular floor. So what I've done here essentially is I have a project name. So essentially I have mail merge whatever is the project name selected, whatever is the tower selected, whatever is the floor selected. And I have said only show me those which are not sold out, because if they are sold out, I don't need to show them to the users. So it filters out all the, based on these conditions, it filters out this particular database and gives me only the values of flats that are available in this particular floor, and I list them as a drop-down option. So if you see, it's set option from Mavis DB. So continuing on, this is how I can configure the same exact thing. Sorry. So it has project name, professional, tower is tower, floor is floor, and sold out is sold out. So I can also sort as well as order. I can also show only distinct values if that is the case required. So I can even filter out. So again, if you have a lot of pin codes in a particular city, like if you have, you can just say unique so that you can only show what all states the particular pin codes are available in just one time. So this will be use cases where you only want to show distinct values. Coming up next, we have forms and process. In payments, we have introduced a new payment gateway called PayFast. This is for South African tenants. We also support Paytm, Razorpay, PayUmoney, PayUBiz for Indian customers, as well as Stripe and Authorize.net for international and US-based tenants. So custom parameters in payments. So this is a new feature that we have added. So essentially, you will be able to pass out mail merge values on a form directly to your payment gateway provider, so that you will be able to have better reconciliation process at your end. Agent pop-up now supports upsell and cross-sell opportunities. So earlier, whenever you used to submit an agent pop-up, it essentially used to close automatically. Now we have provided a temporary state where essentially we say view opportunities so that users can go back and do an upsell if they see relevant opportunities, or they can see they can cross sell if they see that a particular product can be pitched to them as well. So you can have multiple opportunities being sold in the same call and multiple information being captured. We are working on this based on feedback. We try to include more and more functionality that is like automatically suggesting different opportunity types based on the opportunity the agent is working on currently. And as mentioned earlier, our main goal with respect to forms and process is to reduce the time taken to fill a form and to interact with it. And we want to make it as seamless as possible. So we have a lot of UX improvements. The most important one being we now allow rich text fields. So all the labels in your form fields will be rich text. So you can configure them to be bold, italic, or underline. We are allowing rendering of drop downs as checkboxes. I'll discuss a little bit on this a little later. And finally, we are allowing tenants to rename process button in lead details page. So essentially, we'll talk about these a little bit deep. So if you can see here, the field label can now be rich text. So you can essentially even embed help links. So if you have like not clear where the user should go, you can even give a help doc on what to talk, or well, you can just stress about the fact. So this will help you with how how clearly you can reach to the sales user and how clear the sales user is in understanding. So you can stress out like how I've done any, as well as very specific important information that I want to be highlighted. Render as checkboxes. So the main idea is that we see a lot of use cases where people have to select a lot of options, and working with a drop down is really hard. So you have to go to a drop down, hover on it or click on it to open the options. Then you have to browse through the options. Then finally you have to select your option and then close the drop down. But if we start showing them as lists, essentially checkboxes, if it is multi-select, or radio buttons if it is single select, it will help the user because you have all the options in front of you and you can quickly just select one or multiple based on the use. and then quickly go ahead. So I think this will be a very good feature which will help your sales users to quickly fill up your forms. And then we have rename process button. So this is we have two different buttons that show up. So activity button is different from process button. Whenever you apply process at lead details page, add activity, we have allowing you to configure the names, because process seemed ambiguous and we have received feedback about it as well. So you can just rename it to forms, which is like more straightforward, or you can rename it to anything that is flexible. So you can also control this tab. So essentially, on hover, we show quick add activities, which can be added with a quick single click. So you can also control if you want to show them or hide them as well. And you can just save this form to get the configurations as required. So we have a lot of more smaller UX enhancements that we have done all around, which will help you work with your forms more feasibly, not only from the filling out perspective, but also from a functional perspective as well. So we have introduced a lot of different new rules, as well as improved rule implementations as well. So we now allow you to have controls like allow only future time, which essentially disallows all past values, and so on. You can get through, please go through the release blogs to get more information on these. You can always share your feedback to Shivani or at help@leadsquared.com, or to your managers as well, your CSMs as well. So I think that will be it all from forms and process. Thank you. Over to you, Shivani.
Thank you so much, Surya. Okay, and I saw a lot of questions had come also which have been answered by our experts. Our experts were Clement, Chetna, and Vijay. So yeah, thank you so much, three of you, for answering all the questions that came in. And yes, so many of you have asked for the recording for the session, which will also be shared with you. I think we can end the session now, since all your questions have also been answered. Thank you so much, Surya, Abhinav, Kritika, and Kiranmai, for giving us your time and taking us through the session. Again, a quick reminder, if you want to join our webinars next week, we have one for the education sector, life before LeadSquared, essentially, and the other one is for developers. So as Surya mentioned, we will be going into details about Mavis DB in that session, so do join us for that. And also do spread the word. It is a session primarily for developers, so if you have developer friends, just let them know. With that, we end the session for taking part. Take care. Bye-bye.